Hi everyone, myself Arindam and I am a legal intern at LEXIS and Company, and today we'll be discussing on the directive principles of state policies in the Indian Constitution. So without further ado, let's get started. Once a thought exists like a state was concerned mainly to maintain law and order and for the protection of life, liberty and property of the subject. But as society developed, there arose demands like prosperity, well-being of people. Hence, it became the duty of the state to provide some needs other than fundamental rights. In 1945, the Sapru Committee suggested two categories of individual rights, one being justiciable and the other being non-justiciable rights. The right is known as fundamental right and the non-justiciable one as the directive principle of the state policies. Now, the meaning and definition of it. So, the Constitution makers under Part 4 of the Constitution set out aims and objectives to be taken up by the state in the governance of the country. The obligation on the state is called directive principles of the state policy, which is borrowed from Ireland Constitution, which is copied from the Spanish Constitution. The Dpsp lays down certain economics and social policies to be pursued by the various governments in India to promote the welfare of the people and achieve economic democracy. According to the words of Sri G. N. Joshi, directive principle of the state policy is they contribute a very comprehensive political, social and economic program for modern democratic state. In the words of Dr. B. R. Ambedkar, the Dpsp, the directive principles, are like the instruments of instructions which were issued to the Governor General and to the Governor of the Colonies of India by the British government under the Government of India Act of 1935. What is called the directive principle is merely another name for instrument of instruction. The only difference is that they are instructions to the legislature and the executive. Article 36 to 51 in the Indian Constitution explains directive principles of the state policies. The article, I am briefing the articles in a nutshell in one line. So Article 36 defines the state as the same as Article 12 unless the context otherwise defines. Article 37 is the application of the principles contained in this part. Article 38 promotes the welfare of the people by securing a social order through justice, social, economic and political, and to minimize inequalities in income, status, facilities and opportunities. Article 39 is equal justice and free legal aid. Article 40 is organization of village panchayats. Article 41 is the right to work, education and to public assistance in certain cases. Article 42 is the provision for just and human conditions for work and maternity relief. Article 43A is to take steps to ensure the participation of workers in the management of industries. Article 43B is the promotion of cooperative societies. Article 44 is the uniform civil code for the citizen. Article 45 is provisions for early childhood care and education to children below the age of 6 years. Article 46 is the promotion of child education and economic interest of SC, ST and other weaker sections. Article 47 is duty of the state to raise the level of nutrition and the standard living of and to improve public health. Article 48 is to prohibit the slaughter of cows, calves and other males and draught cattle and to prove their breeds. Article 48A is the protection and improvement of environment and safeguard of forests and wildlife. Article 49 is to protection of monuments and places and objects of the national importance. Article 50 is the separation of judiciary from the executive in the public services of the states. Article 50 is the separation of judiciary, I said. Article 51 is the promotion of international peace and security and maintain just and honorable relation between nation, fosters respect for international laws and treaty obligations, encourage settlements of international disputes by arbitration. The main object of enacting the Dpsp is to set standards of achievements between the legislature and the executive, the local and the other authorities by which their success or failures can be judged. Thus, the feature of Dpsp can be briefed as follows. It lays down the ideals that the state should preserve while formulating new policies and laws. It resembles the instrument of instructions enumerated in the Government of India Act 1935. It focuses on ensuring high ideals of justice, liberty, equality, fraternity as outlined in the preamble to the Constitution. They point out the concept of welfare states in this colonial area. Classification of Dpsp, the Constitution, however, doesn't formally classify directive principles of the state policies, but on the basis of content and direction, they can be classified into three categories: social and economic principles, the Gandhian principle, and the liberal and intellectual principles. So social principles based on the ideologies of socialism, Gandhian principles embodied in recast some dreams and ideas of Gandhiji, and the liberal intellectual principle focuses on the ideologies of liberalism. So this is all about DPSP. Now we'll talk about the enforceability of it. Article 37 defines the nature of DPSP, which states that the provisions contained in this part shall not be enforceable by any court, but the principles therein laid down are nevertheless fundamental in the governance of the country, and it shall be the duty of the states to apply these principles in making laws. Therefore, no provision of DPSP can be made enforceable in the court of law. Thus, these principles cannot be used against the central government or the state government. This non-justiciability of DPSP makes the state government and the central government immune from any action against them for not following these directives. It is considered as a negative aspect of DPSP. So this is all about DPSP, the directive principles of state policies. For more such videos on topic related to this law, subscribe to Lexcliq.